Hey everyone, I want to talk to you about something very important tonight, which is gender discrimination and pay inequality in the workplace. So, I've made myself a cup of tea. I finished work. As you can see, it's dark in the background, but I think it's really important that we have a chat about gender inequality and discrimination in the workplace. So, I've made myself some notes. I experienced it today and I've experienced it in the past. And actually, it's something that I come across, unfortunately, almost every day. And it's something that we really should not tolerate. But as women, I think we find it difficult to know how to respond to these comments that sometimes actually, and sadly, we get used to hearing gender based comments just thrown around sometimes, obviously, depending on what workplace you are in. They may be more common or maybe not so common. But, I've worked in professional workplaces, I've worked in top tier accountancy firms, and it exists in every single workplace. And I think we need to know that we need to stand up for ourselves. I'll give you an example of what happened today. I was explaining to a senior male member of the business that we needed to employ a casual person because a number of people were going on holiday and someone else is sick or going through some health issues, and we just don't have enough capacity in the office for one person essentially to cover three roles. And do you know what the comment back was? Oh, but she only works 9 till 2. Like, what is he trying to say by that? Does he mean that if that woman was to work from 9 till 5, or if it was a man working from 9 till 5, then they would be able to do the job of three people? Why was that comment even necessary? It's just so ingrained, isn't it, in the minds of men? And I suppose in our minds, we have to take a step back because we're so used to hearing stuff like this. Oh, but she only works from 9 till 2. Like, actually, we are the most efficient people in a business. I think people that work part-time are some of the most efficient people in a business. We come in with fresh minds because we're not overworked, and we know that we've got to get our shit done, essentially. We know we've got to get our work done between the hours of 9 and 3 or whatever, because we've got less time than the people that worked full time. And actually, we've probably got just as much to do in our roles because, again, we are given the full-time workload that we are expected to do in a part-time role. Another example of where I've seen it is probably about 10 years ago. I was working in a top tier accountancy practice and we were all sat around a boardroom table, and there was a number of women and a number of men sat at that board table. And we were discussing the employees beneath us, like in roles below us, below our level. So like we were all managers and directors, and we were discussing who should and shouldn't get a pay rise and why we thought they should or shouldn't get a pay rise or a promotion. And one of the directors, one of the partners of this accountancy firm, said, when we were talking about a particular woman employee, he said, she only cares about having babies and getting married in order to say that she doesn't deserve a pay rise because she only cares about babies and getting married. And all the women, including me in that room, just stayed silent because that partner is responsible for our salary, for our promotions. And again, it's very difficult for us to find the confidence to speak up in that boardroom with a lot of senior men in that room to say that is not on. She has never said that all she cares about is having babies and getting married. She has never said that. So it is not acceptable to say that at a boardroom table in a professional organisation, and in fact at any organisation. That was the first time I'd come across gender discrimination in the workplace. And I wish that I had the confidence to say something then. So, did you know that the gender pay gap in New Zealand is currently 8.2%? We've definitely made a headway in the last 25 years, because in 1998, the gender pay gap was like 16%. So, actually, we've managed to halve it in the course of 25 years, which is really good progress. But why are we still experiencing this gender pay gap of 8%? How can we address gender inequality, gender discrimination in the workplace? I think we've got to learn to get our voices and to speak up when we hear it and when we see it, and don't just brush it off as, oh, he's just making a joke. So how can we address inequality and discrimination in the workplace? So I think as women, we need to start advocating for ourselves. We need to start negotiating our salaries and educate ourselves on what our worth is. There are many websites you can visit to get an idea of what the average salary is in your occupation. So I'm an accountant and I'm also a finance manager, and I can Google what is the average salary of a finance manager in New Zealand, and it'll tell me the starting salary. It'll tell me what, the top salary is, and it'll tell me the average. And then from that, I can go into a pay negotiation and say, I think I am worth X amount because this is the market pay. Don't be afraid to talk to your colleagues and try and start a conversation around pay. The other thing we can do as employees is to advocate for flexible working. And, if you're an employer and you want to get ahead of the game, then offer flexible working options. If you force your employees to work 9 till 5 and get grumbly when they need to leave early to pick up a sick child, but then they work from home and they actually work flipping well from home, you're going to get really dissatisfied employees that leave you for a better organisation because you're so stuck in like the last century. Offer your employees the option to work from home. Give them a laptop. They're going to be so much happier. They're going to stay with you longer, and they're going to speak about you like in the community. They're like advertising for you that you're a great employer. You allow me to work from home when my child's sick. I don't have to use up all my sick days and then take leave without pay because my child's got a cold and they're not allowed at daycare. Like, we need women in the workplace. The world needs women in the workplace. Employers need women in the workplace. So make your workplace a place that women want to be. Have you experienced gender discrimination or inequality in the workplace? If you have, leave me a comment below. I'd really love to hear about your experience and how you dealt with it, and also how you think we are meant to deal with comments like those that I've come across in the workplace without getting fired and without it impacting on our future pay increases or promotions. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to get notified of future videos. Thanks everyone. Bye.